turning to Alaska and Arctic drilling in the ANWR, are you coming out with an EIS this week?
An EIS was finalized months ago, so the EIS is final. The next step is a record of decision, and then after that would be potentially a proposed call for nominations, and then potentially a lease sale. So that would be the process as contemplated under the statute that I think requires us to have 2 sales within a set date.
So is that happening this week?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. 2 things that I'm concerned about, obviously, is we can see where oil markets are today, and obviously, when we look at the return, we're very, very concerned about, obviously, the wildlife and what you would possibly get out of that return. But one thing that I was very concerned about is just how you can, on the impact of, there was a analysis, and obviously we wanted to have no impact on polar bear dens, but I understand a 1-mile buffer is currently applied to polar bear dens that discovered that oil and gas industries in activities above the Beaufort Sea. Would you support a 1-mile protective buffer in the 1002 area?
Well, I think that when we come out with our plan, it's likely that there'll be areas that are no surface occupancy and some other things. But and you can look at the various alternatives in the EIS to look at some of the choices that people have thought through and some of the conditions that would be applied. The Marine Mammal Protection Act has been in place for many, many years, and polar bears are one of those species that falls under that, and there are insurances that must be given to ensure that things are complied with. So I feel very confident that should activity occur up there, it will be entirely consistent with the Marine Mammal Protection Act as a matter of law.
Well, I certainly hope so, but it's supposed to have negligible impacts, and so I just don't understand how you can have negligible impacts, but we'll look forward to more discussion on this. And Madam Chair, just for the record, since you know how much I care about the Washington-Alaska relationship, it just strikes me that in the midst of all of this crisis that we're having on oil and everything else and the challenges of your state, we made a decision somewhere last week to spend basically about $10 billion in a very short order period of time on our public lands. I'm all for that, but I'm also for continuing a way to help Alaska make it through a transition, and if there was anything we could do to help preserve this land and make progress, I would do both. And so I'm just saying, I'm all supportive of our public lands. I think they're a great economy for us, and they're, more importantly, a great aspect of American society for recreation. So I just, as we spend all our money on LWCF and parks and open space, I'm all for that. But here's a crown jewel, in my opinion, that we should also figure out a way to help Alaska as well. So thank you, Madam Chair.